Hello and welcome to Tarot with Tanya. So 7 cards for 7 days, and we are looking at the week beginning Monday, August 5th and going to Sunday, August 11th. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome. If you're first time, an extra big welcome. And for those of you who have been here before, thank you so much for coming back. In terms of the astrology for the week, we'll talk a little bit about that, and then we'll look at the cards, and then we'll end with the Tree Keeper's Oracle card. So we start with our moon in Leo, and we'll end the week with the moon in Scorpio. So we're still on that fixed thing, going from a fixed moon to a fixed moon. And we have just had that new moon in Leo, so the energy is growing, the moon is growing. And you know, with the Leo, it's very creative, dramatic, good for children. Just all kinds of creative endeavors, romance, things like that. And by the time we get to Scorpio, that's all about the depth, the seriousness, the psychic ability, things like that associated with Scorpio. We still have Neptune retrograde, Saturn retrograde, Pluto retrograde, and now Mercury has gone retrograde as well. So the Mercury one tends to be the one people are most familiar with, and that's where, you know, little miscommunications can happen, emails get lost, electronics mess up, travel plans get changed, things like that. So just be aware of that sort of energy. And, you know, with Saturn retrograde in Pluto, it's a lot about our boundaries around our spirituality. What is it that we want to give energy to in that regard? Pluto's about the power and so forth. And, you know, Neptune, of course, rules Pisces, and it is in Pisces right now. And that's been a very interesting journey. There's been a lot of talk about cults, and, you know, people have deepened their spirituality, and sometimes maybe not necessarily in the healthiest way if you get caught up in a cult-like energy. But for most people, it has helped us become more aware of that part of ourselves, connect to these larger, more cosmic energies. Otherwise, for our week, on Wednesday, we have a really great day from the stars, because the sun will be sextile to Jupiter, so they're communicating, they're in great harmony. They're giving each other energy. It's very positive. And Mercury conjunct Venus is the same. So really good for relationships, for optimism, healthy perspectives, even for things like publishing. So basically that is our week in terms of the stars. I'm using again this week the Morgan Greer deck, and we have a couple of majors, we have a couple of cups, and a couple of swords. Pairs seem to be our theme last time as well, so we've got that going on. We've also got 2 9s, 2 4s. So there's definitely some 2 balancing, harmonizing kind of energy happening. And the majors that we have this week are deeply feminine ones. So there seems to be some kind of energy happening around the feminine, maybe giving that more credence, paying more attention, not being so into our masculine energies, which is interesting given where the cards start, because we do start with a masculine element of air represented by the swords here. This one dear friend said to me, maybe is about projection. I think I might have mentioned that before, and it's kind of interesting. You see this figure holding a couple of swords, and then someone kneeling, someone gesturing, a couple of swords on the ground. The person also has that 3rd sword in the hand. So what is really happening? Are these mental projections that we're getting from this central figure? It is labeled defeat in some, but we have to remember that it is mental. So it's all happening, in our minds. So, part of these retrograde planets too can be about the stories that we tell ourselves. Are we creating positive narratives? We'll get to that also with our oracle card. So we get the first of the two fours next, and we're switching over to the cups, the water element. So now over to the feminine. And, we have a kind of figure with ivy on the head. The three cups are there, but the focus tends to be on that cup. That some people talk about this in the Rider-Waite deck and this deck being sort of like a hand of God handing, over this cup. So sometimes there's a sense of this card of not paying attention to what we have. I've also seen it called boredom. So maybe not focusing on what's there, but looking for something else that might be kind of an illusion too. On the positive side, I would say count your blessings. Wednesday, we move into that first major and we have the moon. So on the shadow side, the moon can be about deceit, trying to pull something over on someone, lunacy, illusions also. But on the brighter side, it can be that very mystical, deep, feminine energy that does illuminate. Of course, we've just had the new moon, so it's not so bright right now. But it could be within. This certainly can represent some energy that's around us, or it can represent an energy within. As I said, this is part of what leads me toward that deep feminine energy for this week. And what does that mean for us? So I would encourage everyone, go inward, see what that intuitive feminine energy is saying to you about your own life, about what you're perceiving around you. By the time we get to Thursday, we have another 9. So the moon is a 9. It's 18, but 8 and 1 are 9. And that connects it to the Hermit too. So that also gives that inward light energy to it. Here we have the 9 of Pentacles or discs, another earth energy, another feminine energy. So we have 3 in a row here. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and she's one who has the bird of paradise on her shoulder. It's about wealth, it's about prosperity, it's about things going really well on the material plane. When we reach Friday, we get our second 4. And this one is in a masculine energy. We're back to the swords. We have the second swords as well. We had the 5 at first, and now we're down to the 4. So, often in this card, you'll see a depiction of perhaps a knight, someone usually veiled in some way, hidden, like this person is with the helmet and the visor and so forth. And these swords hanging above, sometimes by the side, and it's kind of like a pause, a stillness, a moment to be quiet and contemplate what is going on. Now, if we were doing this reading for a particular person, it could be even a need, a physical, medical need almost, to take a little meditation, a checkup, a rest, things like that. But here in our week, it just seems like we come to Friday. 4 is an earth energy, in numerology, and just a pause. So it might be a good day to end your week, your work week perhaps, and reflect on what has happened and be at peace with that, accept. We get that second major, again, deeply feminine, on our Saturday, and here we have the Empress. Now she's connected, to the High Priestess because she's also got that crescent moon. And I believe we had the High Priestess last week. So here she's got 1 foot on it, but she's very earthy as well. And you can tell that by the symbolism around her, the flower, the water, there's fruit below her, there's the greenery, the trees, all kinds of things. And even the way that she's seated, that lap is meant to be deeply feminine, to support, to nurture, to remind us of all the bounty that is around us. So she can be very creative, very mothering, again, deeply feminine. A shadow side could be overly that way, maybe smothering too much of the deep feminine to where it could be cloying. But you know, we can make those choices how we use that energy. So Saturday could be a great day to nurture the people we love, to nurture the self, work in the yard, something like that. And by the time we hit our Sunday, we're still with the feminine. Now with pages, to me, seem very androgynous. Where cups are where the feminine energy come in, that water element. And pages often are messengers. What is a new thought or a new feeling would be more appropriate since it is water, a new insight, something from your own psyche. That shows up. It could be a person coming to tell you something, bringing you love, someone coming to love on you, or you going somewhere to love on someone else. But expect something new and fresh that day. So again, overall, lots of feminine energy, a little bit of a taste of the masculine with a couple of swords. One about watching our projections, making sure we're, you know, clear on our mental story. We're not telling ourselves things that are negative and not true. And then that other one about taking a little bit of rest. And then when we're in the feminine, the flowing, the nurturing, and taking care of ourselves and those we love. So we'll end today with a card from the Tree Keeper's Oracle, and this one is the Keeper of Sanctuary. And sorry, I try to get it out of the glare for you there. So I just still am in total love with these cards. Highly recommend them if you're looking for a nice little oracle card for daily use. So, Keeper of Sanctuary, thoughts happen like birds on a tree limb. They arrive unbidden and often unpremeditated. The thoughts we pay attention to have the power to shape the world of our personal experience. Are you paying attention to the ones that fill you with expansion, hope, possibility, or the ones that or the ones that make you feel diminished, small, and powerless? You cannot always control your circumstances, but you can certainly influence what and how you think about them and what you give your attention to. And that so much made me think about our Monday and that Five of Swords. You live most of your life inside your mind. Make sure it's a beautiful place to live. Will it be sanctuary or hovel? The choice is yours. And that is, you know, where we can claim our own power, not give it away to others, not feel like a victim, but to accept where we are, and maybe pray for the most benevolent outcome. So, beloveds, I am wishing you the best possible week. Thank you again so much for being here. Please, would you like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. And if you are in need of a personal reading, need some help that way, please reach out. There'll be information below in the description box and at the end of the video. I'll see you again in 7 days.